One of the most disrespectful things I've ever seen is a celebrity getting up on any stage or any platform or any media network asking for donations or money. What is good? What is happening? What is BEA, beautiful ladies and gentlemen? I'm your host, JLW, and I want to thank you all so much for joining me for episode 60 of Stand On Business. Okay, so you're probably wondering why I'm saying what I'm saying. Well, big takeaway from this is this: tone deafness. Tone deafness. When you have individuals who are millions and millions and sometimes billions of dollars up, going onto a stage, asking the everyday person, asking the nurses, the bus drivers, the butchers, the school teachers to go into their wallets and donate what they can to help the victims, it comes off a type of way. When you're an Oprah Winfrey, when you're a Rock, when you're a Kevin Hart, when you're a Brad Pitt, and I'm throwing out random names right now. Excuse me. I'm not mad at people giving. I want people to give. We should do more in giving. When I'm saying that the optics of a millionaire, billionaire individual asking the everyday person to go into their wallets and give of their last dollar or last few dollars or some of their dollars, it looks bad tonally in a world that has become so lopsided. It is no longer about going out there and doing the work behind the scenes to get this community back on its feet, to get the people back on its feet. No, it is about how can I appear at this and sell it? How can I show up at the flood and be the first one on camera and say, hey, I'm Joe Celebrity, rallying the troops, letting you know that I've been up for 13 hours, picking up boxes with the rest of them. Look at my Walmart shirt that I just bought. Got this from down the street. $13 just like you. Anyway, down here picking up food because they need help. And while you're seeing this devastation and this tragedy, hold on, fake tear, wait a minute. Okay, fake tear. While you're seeing this devastation, I want you to know that I will be here to support you. And then I think it's important that if you're watching right now, you should give of your last dollar. You should dig into your pocket and you should find this moment. Because we are humans. We are all the same. We all live the same lifestyle. We are all on this planet trying to make it work. So please find it in your heart to give to these communities. And cut. Okay, well, I got to tell y'all what. I'm tired. I'm sweating. I don't know what that issue put in my eyes, but it's irritating me. Somebody get the car. I'm ready to go back to my jet. I'm ready to get back to my house because this is bullshit. So, tone deafness is what I'm talking about. We've got two topics that we're talking about. One of them relates to tone deafness. The other one is just something that I think is important to bring up. Because I hate when the media, when the media decides to promote a story, a negative story about a person, and this from any background, I don't care, but in particular, a person like Diddy, promote the negative side of the story, and it is a lot of negative, and he deserves the negative, but then when some additional details come out that may kind of change the negative skew that we attach to it, we ignore it, or we'll put it on a sister site, we'll hide it somewhere and be like, oh, by the way, some things were changed, by the way, he may not have been guilty of all the things we said. Anyway, next story. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like it when we keep it up the entire way through. If the individual did bad in the beginning, great. But if we find out later on that, hey, maybe all of the things that we heard weren't as true, let's also keep it great, keep it real, tell the truth. So those are two things we're talking about. First topic we're going to talk about concerns the lavish, what is being called one of the most lavish weddings of, if not the decade, the year.
Time to tackle the biggest issue of the day. That is Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and his fiancée Lauren Sanchez. Their nuptials, they've finally tied the knot in a very stunning and public city, Venice, of course.
Yeah, very quiet and understated. The couple has shared photos from the lavish ceremony, which is already stirring up a fair bit of controversy.
I've got just the man to tell us all about it. The wedding of the century, it's been dubbed, and Shagun Oduolowu joins us in LA.
Morning, Shagun. Now, they've officially tied the knot. We've had a look at the dress. What do you reckon?
Oh, well, the dress is a, couture Dolce & Gabbana, which makes sense because Domenico Dolce himself was there at the wedding, all right? It was hand done. And what do you expect for a billionaire's wedding? reports are saying that this wedding cost somewhere between $40 and $55 million.
$46.5 to $55.6 million. Now, I want to caveat everything I'm about to say with, if you've earned it, which this man has, and I'm not talking about bootstraps because we know the whole history of he got a $200,000 loan or some crazy amount of money from his family, so it wasn't like he came from the mud. Most people don't just have $200,000 that they can get from their parents, but you got it up in a way that you weren't worth $200-something billion when you were born, and you built up this empire. Great, kudos. I think that should be applauded, and I also believe that if you've earned it, you should be able to spend it how you want to spend it. If the man has $40-something million and he wants to throw a $40-something million wedding for his wife, the woman that he wants to be with for the rest of his life, hell yeah, do that. You should do that. You've earned it. What is the point of this life if not to enjoy the things or the fruits of your labor? The problem that we are witnessing, that we are seeing, is the tone deafness of the wedding. Now, this only occurs to me when your everyday actions are considered extravagant to the mass, but to you are mundane. What I'm saying is your everyday is somebody else's extraordinary. So an individual who's spending $40-something million on a wedding, right? We're talking about 5 private yachts that are going. Let me also say this is taking place in Venice. And when you're talking about bringing 5 super yachts, private yachts, the big yachts, right? The ones that, again, are contributing to damaging our oceans, but also our ozone issues, and it's just traveling in a way that is abundantly gross. And then you're bringing in people in private jets. And then, to make matters worse, you're renting not a hotel, not a street, not a little area. No, the whole island is what was originally being reported. The whole island is what you wanted for 2 people, 2 humans in the world. A whole island. Could you imagine somebody coming to the U.S. and being like, you know what? All of Texas. Yeah, I want all of Texas for my wedding. What the in a time where people are going to the grocery store and having to decide, do I want milk or eggs? Do we eat meat this week? Or do we have power in the house?
So y'all, I'm at my favorite grocery store, and I just want to show y'all the prices on some of this stuff. Hold up. This is really great tomato sauce, like spaghetti sauce, and it's $11.99.
In case you guys are wondering how things are going in California, we're at the grocery store, and the eggs are $17.49.
What's up, America? I'm here at a Kroger, and I'm going to check out the meat prices. So let's see if meat prices are the same, going up, or coming down. We're going to start here with the boar's head selection. We're looking at about $13.50 a pound for boar's head. I remember when this was about $7.99 a pound. That was expensive back in the day.
You're spending $40 million for a 3-day, 2-day, what doesn't even matter how many day wedding. The tone deafness comes from you doing something that is so extravagant in a time of such fragility. We have people that are starving in a country that no one is allowed to help provide aid to. We have places getting bombed by the decisions of 2 individuals. Nobody else had anything to say on it. 2 individuals decided, I'm just going to bomb a random place. We've got people in our country on trains that are sleeping, dealing with mental health crises that nobody is addressing. We have individuals who can't even go see their kids go to graduation for fear of being picked up and sent to a country that they didn't even come from. And you're spending $40 million to bring your other super rich elite friends on boats so that they can eat crab and fish and steak and cheer you in a time of economic uncertainty globally. If you can rent Venice for your wedding, you can pay more tax. And here's the other issue as well. It's not just tone deaf. It's that people know you're doing things that are unfair that the other individuals cannot do to continue to not only maintain your wealth, but build your wealth. You are playing a game through lobbying, through Congress, through backdoor connections that are allowing you to exploit loopholes so that although we are being crushed under the heavy tax burden of our deficit, of our country literally just throwing out money, but not taking any of it back from the rich people, but then saddling the middle and the lower class, and really just the lower class because the middle class has been eroded, with, hey, it's tax time, and by the way, I know you paid, let's say you made $10,000, and I know you paid, let's say, $5,000 of it to taxes, but you're still underpaid, you're still on owing, and you got a deadline, otherwise we're going to come lock you up. These individuals are shouldering the load of this deficit, while individuals who can pay $40 million for a 2-day holiday retreat to marry a person have paid no taxes. In fact, let's narrow it down even more. In fact, let's go a little bit further. In 2007, and this is from ProPublica. In 2007, Jeff Bezos, then a multi-billionaire, B with an M next to it, right? You're taking the M's and then you're multiplying it by times 10 to get to B. Literally, you could have 3 generations of kids and they never work and they will still be just fine. Multi-billionaire. And now the world's richest man at the time did not pay a penny, not a single penny, nickel, dime, penny, none of it, in federal income taxes. He achieved the feat again in 2011, and in 2018, Tesla founder Elon Musk, the second richest person in the world, also paid no federal income taxes. 0. How does that work? How is it that you are the 2 richest people in the world and you have paid no money to help with the deficit that you're also help creating? Because remember, the individuals that are in power right now were backed by who paid for Trump to be elected? Who paid the most money?
On Wednesday, Mark Zuckerberg donated $1 million to Trump's inaugural committee. A day later, Jeff Bezos and OpenAI founder Sam Altman each donated $1 million of their own. Then on Friday, Tim Cook had dinner with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and Bezos is expected to head down there next week. Of course, all of these guys are just playing catch-up to Elon Musk, who spent over $250 million to get Trump elected in the first place.
When you have individuals that are gaming the system in front of your faces, of course, people might feel like you're being a tad bit disrespectful when you're doing things like spending $50 million, buying up a whole island, not even buying up, renting, because, who buys? Renting a whole island for a wedding. It's the flaunting of that wealth and that power that I've said for the longest time. This ish cannot go on forever. It cannot. It just won't. When you're seeing individuals right now peacefully saying, I'm not okay with you being in my town, and doing things like tying up a makeshift dummy, attaching it to a wooden crate, throwing it into the river and letting it float. Like, this is all peaceful manifestations of the resentment and the anger that the common people, the average everyday person, is feeling. And the thing about it is that can only stay this way for so long. Rich people can only continue to flaunt things so aggressively in individuals' faces before there's a turning point. You can only tell people to continue to eat dirt and to watch their kids die and to watch their own health suffer and to be told that there's no jobs for you because you're being replaced by AI. I got to include the clip right here where I literally was walking down the street and there was a billboard, an ad that said, don't hire humans anymore, AI is here. You're telling people to their face that you're replaceable, we're not going to pay you, and then doing things like flying in on private jets, inviting people like Orlando Bloom, Oprah Winfrey, who else did they say was going to be at this wedding? The Kardashians, on these lavish yachts and boats and these lavish locations. You can't continue to flaunt this lifestyle and expect people to sit down and be okay with it. It just will not work. So again, it's good that it's peaceful. Downplay what you have. Don't make a scene. Most people, especially in the minority community, recognize that. They understand the consequences of walking around a neighborhood with a bunch of have-nots with have. Somebody's going to come and take it. Why? Because I got nothing to lose. So imagine on a grand scale. Now globally, you're showing the world what you have. I'm telling you, that resentment does not go away. You're talking about a nation divided over race. F that. Talk about a nation divided over inequality. So anyway, you got these billionaires that are walking around, and this is the other thing that really kind of irritates me when we play party politics, because at this same event, you've got individuals who have come out liberal, who have said who have taken liberal stances, who have walked outside and told you to your liberal face, this is who you should vote for because they are for you, of you. You've got these individuals going to this wedding, but guess who's also at this party? Oh, Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump. Wait a minute, aren't they supposed to be extreme right? Wait, shouldn't y'all be like diametrically opposed? Shouldn't y'all be foes? That's what they say in Helmington, right? Like, what the fuck? But y'all going into a room to get...
Two Virginians and an immigrant walk into a room diametrically opposed foes. They emerge with a compromise, having opened doors that were previously closed. Bros.
Because they are two sides of the same damn coin. We are telling you, the people, what you should be upset about. We are telling you, the people, that you should be mad because the elephant doesn't like the donkey and the donkey hates the elephant. But really, we, the rich, give no damns because we are going to weddings together. We are laughing at our expensive mansions, our castles, whatever, in your face right now. Because what we really want is going to happen no matter what. I don't care who is in office. Tone deaf would imply that the individual that is doing the thing doesn't know, though. They're unaware of how they're presenting themselves. They're acting, behaving, or saying things without the intention of hurting your feelings. I'm just tone deaf. I just can't hear it. I can't see the issue. But what I'm saying is, it's moved past that. They just don't care anymore. You can continue to struggle, and I don't think you're going to do anything about it, is what I think we've moved to. And that's what I think is the most dangerous, not just for the rich, but for the world, because now we're making decisions where experts are coming out and saying, hey, we got to stop doing this. We got to stop doing that. Hey, we are teetering on the edge of destroying everything that we've built, everything that we know, and they don't care. We're told most of the Bezos Sanchez party goers spent most of Thursday lounging by the pool of the swanky hotel Chiprani, and some others chilled at fabulous restaurants around the floating city. But everyone's coming together around 7:30 p.m. local time. Our sources say all they were told was to be on a particular dock and ferry boats would take them to an island. Any other details only the bride and groom know. It's a super secretive affair. We're told guests will have to surrender their phones before they get to the island bash. Man, this sounds a whole lot like what somebody's on trial for right now. Going to a secret party with a bunch of rich people and nobody else is invited. No phones to be included. We gonna get to Diddy, damn it. Anyway, let's see who's all there. Lauren and Jeff are expected to welcome around 200 guests to their wedding, and they're reportedly spending a minimum of $50,000 per guest. Y'all understand that the people that are responsible for people's families, I'm talking about the people that work at skilled nursing facilities, right? That wipe your grandma and your granddad's ass. Those individuals make less than what they're spending per guest for I almost cursed, we're not gonna do that, for a wedding. The individuals of this nation that are responsible for teaching your children, for giving them history, math, science, philosophy, for making them better, well-rounded individuals to contribute to the society, are making less than what they're spending for one person to vacation for a few damn days. How does this make sense to y'all still? How is this still okay? This is what I'm saying about not just being tone deaf, but not caring. They don't care. And again, I don't want to sound like a hater, because I've said this right now. What I do enjoy about our country, more so than a lot of other countries, is that you are technically given the freedom to try and make it your way. Now, it is stacked so against you, and I'm not just talking about minorities, I'm talking about anybody that doesn't have connections or already resources, because the rich have gone up and they pulled the ladder behind them. They're making it harder for you to do what they've done. But technically, it is still there for you to get to this level. And I would never, again, hate on somebody enjoying the fruits of their labor. I'm saying that this should be something that shouldn't be publicized, because it flaunts it in the faces of the everyday person. I can't imagine what the people of Venice are feeling like, because I haven't heard great things about the individuals who are living there currently in terms of how they feel about tourism right now and the overpopulation of people coming to their island and treating it like a playground and not like a place where people actually live and work and are trying to make a living. Here's some of the names we've seen on the ground in Venice include Kim and Khloe Kardashian, Kris Jenner, Orlando Bloom, Scooter Braun, Tom Brady, Oprah, and Gayle King. That's not everybody. Stop playing with me. So this whole game of the rich telling y'all that you should hate your neighbor and your problem is the person that lives across from you, that's what I keep trying to harp on. I gotta keep saying it. Please stop falling for this ish. Look at what these individuals are doing on a regular weekday. They're having somebody else pay up to $10 million for 200 people to come and party their asses off, and then coming out the next day and saying, but yeah, no, I hate that person across the aisle. Y'all should hate them too, because they don't stand for your rights. They're not like us. Hey, this wildfire was devastating. If you could give your last dollar, donate to my charity, because we'll make sure those funds get to these families and build a home. This it's spitting in people's faces, man. It is, and I can see why the Venetians are coming out and saying, get the hell off our island. We don't want you here. There's only so much you can do. The other thing I want to say, though, was about the flaunting of things, because I've told y'all that, like I said, if you've earned it, I believe that you should be able to enjoy this. Life is short. Enjoy it to the best of your ability. Obama, former President Obama, recently had a speech. What was it? Hartford Forum, I believe it was something like that.
And that process of globalization and technology creates this explosion of growth and huge amounts of wealth spinning around the globe. But there was a catch, because this was all driven by global capital, and that was that it created what some economists referred to as a winner-take-all economy, in the sense that if you had high skills, you already had capital, you had advantages, you had education, you could leverage that and do even better. And those economic dislocations and the capacity of some people to make $100 billion or more, and others not, and have trouble making the rent or feeding their families, that's created tensions. And if you combine that with a change in the information ecosystem brought on by the internet and then social media, and everybody carrying around this little thing in their pocket, what that also did was to let everybody know how unequal everything was.
One of the biggest issues we had was the inclusion of and the internet, but mainly social media. And what he was saying was, what social media essentially did was opened the world, not just the country, but the world up to the lifestyle of the other side. Now, for the longest time, we'd all heard about what the Hiltons or the Rockefellers or whatever, the Queens, the British monarchy, what they were doing at their events. We heard about individuals that grew up in the 1%, went to private schools and vacationed in the loveliest of places, and you know what I'm saying, took what do they call it, gap years. Like, that was a thing for a certain class of people. And it's one thing to hear about it, but if you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't see it, well, then you're focused on your own life and your own bubble, and it's okay because everybody around you is also in similar circumstances. But then when you go on social media and you're scrolling through your feed and you're seeing people living this lifestyle where they're on gorgeous beaches every day, and they've got houses that have the setting sun and infinity pools, and they're eating food that you can't even name, and it's abundant and it's grotesque and it's everywhere, then suddenly that little monster that we all have inside of us that we tamper down as we go through educational schools, and they try to teach you how to be a good citizen, but really what they're teaching you is how to be a good worker. Well, that little jealousy monster starts to rear its head, and you go, wait a minute, I want some of that life. Why don't I deserve to also be at these exotic locations? And why do I have to work 9 to 12 hours every day just so that I can go home and go to sleep and do it all over again? What do I have to do to get to that lifestyle? And which is why you had individuals start to look for things to blame, whether it was government, politicians, their neighbors, immigration, whatever. It became easier to start to hate because you were seeing what so many others had. And I mean, this is a big topic because you could talk about what it's done to kids, but you can also talk about what it's done to individuals when it comes to their career mindsets. It's what it's also done to people when it comes to what will I do to get to that next level? What am I willing to sell to get to that next level? Individuals, even like when you look at our next topic, right, which is the Diddy thing, what I'm willing to put myself through because I want a taste of and to maintain that lifestyle. So much happened when the world got to open its eyes to how the other percent lives. Congratulations to them. Again, if you've earned it, which he has, absolutely treat yourself, and more importantly, treat the love of your life. Take care of them. Provide the things that we all probably would do the same thing if we were in the same similar situation or boat. It's unfortunate that it's only a handful, and I don't know why I have two hands up, one handful of people that are afforded this ability in this opportunity. And more people would probably be okay with it if they felt like the playing field was fair for them to get to this same level. Let's move on to the second topic. It's going to be a little bit quicker because I took way too much time on this previous one. But I think this one is important to end on just because we've heard it time and time again. Media is really bad about running with negative stories very quickly and then failing to print the retractions or additional updates, information that may paint that person in a positive light. I want to preface everything I say, and please listen, because some of y'all sometimes don't listen to the whole thing. You just take the little clips of what I'm saying and then you run with that. So listen to what I'm saying here. Diddy, or as every media outlet seems to refer to him as, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Puff Daddy, Brother Love, whatever the hell is that they seem to be putting his whole damn name, is a bad man. I'm not saying because I know the man. I'm not saying because I've partied with the man. I'm not saying because of what they're saying in the trial. I'm saying based off solely the clip I saw of this man mercilessly whoop Cassie's ass. That's it. That is my whole basis of is a bad man. No man should ever put his hands on a woman unless protecting himself. But no man should ever beat a woman the way he beat that woman on video. We have the video. This is before AI became as good and dangerous as it is now. That video exists. We've seen it. That makes you a bad person. However, but that does not mean that the justice system now goes and tries to bend or break or manipulate things to lock you away for the rest of your life. I still think a lot of this went back to the Diageo thing. Check out my video on that. But what we've been seeing for over the last few weeks, and this is why I haven't been talking about the trial, I haven't been talking about the Diddy thing because I was kind of over it, was prosecutors fail, at least from what's being reported, to present a case that shows half of the things that they allege that this man did. So this last thing we're going to read from CBS News. Combs has pleaded not guilty to 5 counts. The first count is racketeering conspiracy, which alleges he abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. Prosecutors allege Combs relied on employees, resources, and influence of his business empire to create a criminal enterprise that engaged in or attempted to engage in sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purpose of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. The other 4 counts allege sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. Prosecutors said in a court filing Wednesday that jury instructions would not need to address allegations regarding attempted arson, attempted kidnapping, or aiding and abetting sex trafficking, since the government is no longer planning to proceed on these theories of liability. Okay, there was a lot that was being said there. Let's start with, I'm not a legal analyst, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a paralegal. But what I found important in all of this is, one, the prosecutors basically saying, hey, we're not dropping these charges because we think that he's innocent of them. We're dropping them because this will help the juries focus in on what we think he is guilty of what we're charging him with, what we've presented evidence related to. And this is where it gets funky to me, and we'll make this quick. But essentially they're saying that we are charging this man with racketeering. Racketeering being that his whole mogul empire, or some aspect of his mogul empire, was used to engage in sex trafficking, in moving women around against their will for sex purposes for himself. They don't even mention for anybody else, just for himself is what I'm seeing here, right? The problem is, so far the witnesses that we've heard of and the texts that we've seen been revealed have not shown anybody being led against their will to engage in any type of sexual activity. In fact, everything that's been presented so far has shown the opposite, that a lot of these women, all of the women, were willing participants, including Cassie, and knew what they were doing. Now, there were moments where they seemed to suggest that they weren't feeling well or they didn't want to engage that night, but even then there were texts from Diddy's side that was saying, like, basically, okay, it's up to you. And the women, by their own admission, are saying we were afraid to say no, not because he was going to beat us or lock us in a cage. No, because we were going to lose access to the lifestyle that we liked. One of the witnesses, who is being used as an example of sex trafficking, still lives in a house or an apartment or a pent that he pays for. Can you imagine paying for somebody's living quarters while they're in front of you testifying, saying that you did this thing to them? This shit don't even make any sense anymore. What we're judging somebody off of is their sexual private life. That's what this trial is really about. And y'all are hoping that you can play off of one, the Cassie tape, because we know this all really popped up. When that Cassie tape hit the airwaves, oh boy, houses were getting raised. Suddenly we're seeing videos about baby oil. We still haven't heard ish about this damn baby oil and what this had. Did anybody ever come out and say, hey, the baby oil had drugs in it and this is why we need to tell you that he had 1,000 bottles of baby oil? That's what we're really judging you off of. We're hoping that America finds you guilty because we have a fascination with telling other people how they should live, what they should do in the bedroom. I have a video on this. One of the first earliest videos. I told you one of the weirdest things to me about the right side when it comes to abortions is if you don't believe them, don't do them. Simple as that. If you don't think that there should be abortions, then you make sure you and your wife or you and your husband don't get them. But don't look into your neighbor's yard and be like, but I'm also making sure that y'all don't get them. Don't y'all go to that clinic. We are really saying, Diddy, we don't like the things that you like to do. We don't like that you like to have a man skeet onto a woman and then that woman come and rub it on your nipples. We don't like that you like to have multiple women in orgies. We don't like that you prefer to watch your woman get dick down by another man. And so we're going to put this somehow together. We're going to co-ring all these stories and say that you did something bad. We don't know what exactly. This is racketeering. And more than that, more than any of the other ish, it's a bunch of people who were willing to sell something to get a taste of the lifestyle, as we spoke about in the previous topic. People are willing to do a lot. They won't tell you it, but are willing to do a lot. They'll show you it to get a taste and maintain a life of luxury. We'll wait and see what happens here. Like I said, it's an interesting time to be alive right now, y'all. A lot of things going on in the world. So one, congratulations to the married couple or soon to be married couple. Two, Diddy, you're nasty, you're a bad person, but also what happened? You just, let's call a spade, what's fair and what's not fair. If you had something, you should have brought it. You didn't have it, because this is not it. And also, same thing I said with the whole Tyler Perry thing, bro. Victims, get your money. If you was done wrong, fight back. But if you know that you was out there selling your soul and your booty willingly, then admit it. Roll with that. You had a taste of the good life. If it didn't maintain itself, oh well. Oh effing well. Try another lick. Plenty of people out there. Crazy how many people want to sleep with people who have slept with somebody else, especially men. It's weird. That's it, y'all. That's all I got for this episode of Stand On Business. Thank you all so much for joining me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment sections below. Let me know what you want to talk about. Abercrombie and Fitch CEO, you are on deck. I'm coming for that damn topic, so wait for it. Until then, remember, stand for something, or for the love of God, believe me when I say you will fall for anything. Till next time.
So